Welcome to Camp Creativity today. We are going to make this cute little butterfly. It's a little yarn woven butterfly and it's real simple. We're going to I'll show you the materials that we're going to use. We have some craft sticks, some yarn, we have some beads, we have a couple of chenille stems for antennas, and then we have some markers if you want to actually add some details to your weaving. So we have shown that we can do both a butterfly and a turtle. But we're going to actually do the butterfly today. Let's see if you guys can see that. Always helps to make sure you see it finished. Is that upside down? All right. So we're going to start with 2 craft sticks. And you're going to make an X with the craft sticks. Now you need 2 hands for this, so gets a little tricky, but I'm going to move the rest of these things out of the way. I'm going to start with one of my colors of yarn. So what you're going to do, you're going to hold the craft sticks in an X like that, with your finger, your index finger and your thumb holding them. And you're going to take the yarn with your other hand. You're going to hold it. See if you can grab it with your fingers underneath, just to hold it in place. And you're going to wrap it around that X about 3 or 4, maybe 5 times. You can kind of adjust your sticks. Then you're going to go the other way on the X and wrap it around 3 or 4 or 5 times. By doing that, now your wings of your butterfly, which are going to be the X, should be pretty sturdy, being held by that yarn that you just wrapped around. So now what you're going to do is we're going to start weaving one of the wings. And how you do that is we're going to make a figure 8. So you go over the stick, under the stick, and then over the next stick and under that stick. And then you just keep going over and under, over and under, over and under. Everybody doing okay? I'll slow down so that you can kind of catch up. We're just going to keep going over and under. We're going to go about halfway down the wings and we're going to change colors. I'm going to stop there so you can kind of see how this weaving part is happening. So what I'm going to do then is I'm going to get my scissors and I'm going to cut off some yarn. I'm not going to cut it too. I'm going to give myself a little extra here, because now what I want to do is turn my butterfly over and I want to tuck that under one of the strands just to keep it in place. We're eventually going to tie the yellow. My second color is going to be yellow, so we eventually want to tie that to that string. Okay? To start your second color, you're going to do the same thing. You're going to hold it with the bottom fingers, kind of grab it, and then just start doing your figure 8s. Over, under, over, under, over, under. Just keep doing your figure 8s. Okay, I'm going to stop there and I'm going to turn my butterfly over. And I'm going to tie that string to the pink one. This is the one that I tucked away before when I finished my pink, and this is my yellow, and I'm going to tie them together. This will be on the back. Don't worry about the strings hanging down. We'll fix that later. Looks kind of messy from the back, but uh-oh. Pulled that too tight. That's what you should have. Now we're going to do the other side exactly the same way. Flip it around. I'm going to grab my yarn. I'm going to go over and under, like figure eights. And again, I'm going to go about halfway, about the same amount I did on the other side. Now there's one thing you could do if you had trouble getting your X to stay in place when you got started. And that is if you have an adult around and they have a hot glue gun, they can glue your sticks together and then you don't have to worry about trying to hold them with your fingers. But if you can get the X started, then your stick should hold together. So that's where we're at now. Then I'm going to add my yellow.
Hey Val, we're getting a couple of questions. If you
Yes.
could maybe just do a quick recap of what we've done so far for anybody who joined late.
I sure can. In fact, I want to go back and show how we got started with the X and some other things that you can do. So I'm going to lay that aside. So the way we started was we took our 2 craft sticks and we made an X. Now what I had just said earlier was if you wanted to glue them together, you could. Now if you use regular glue, you would have to let it dry, or if you have a parent who has hot glue gun, they can glue them together. But you should be able to, if you can hold them, and it's a little tricky, I get that. I had to practice a few times. So, sorry, I'm trying to find the camera here. So then I'm gonna take my yarn, get this out of the way. I'll take my yarn, and I'm going to wrap it around the X, the middle of the X. Several times. Then I'm going to turn my X. And you can see how it's moving around. You have to kind of hold it. But once you get your X going, your yarn going around the other side of the X, it holds it better in place. So you can do that. Now, once you have that part done, I went right into the figure eights, and you can see how on this one, I have what looks like my X, and then you can see some of the craft sticks. On this one, what I did was, before I started the figure eights, I just wrapped a few times until I got to this part where the X comes together. And then I can start doing the figure eight. So you can do it either way. I think it looks good both ways. If everybody gets this figure eight idea, that's where your weaving comes in. Weaving is basically over and under. And so in here we're going over one stick, under one stick, and over the other stick and under the other stick. You just keep going back and forth. This one actually looks a little prettier than the other one. And if you made a mistake or you want to start over, just unroll your yarn and start again. There's nothing wrong with that. So I'm going to try.
We have a few questions, Val, about if they can use more than 2 colors, and also if they can use only 1 color if they want to.
They sure can. You can use as many colors as you want. You just have to, every time you stop, you have to tuck your little end under so it doesn't unravel, or you can do it all one color. You can be as creative as you want. So there's that, and I tucked that under. You can kind of see how I've tucked that under the yarn, and it's just gonna stay there. And I'm gonna take my second color, and I'm gonna continue my over and under on this side. If you've gotten one side finished, you guys can start the next side. You can use however many colors of yarn you want. It's just every time you change colors, you just have to tie off the end of that one color. Okay. So there's that side. And just to be safe, I'm going to tie my little ends together. And then we can cut the ends off. That way I know if I'm playing with it, it won't come undone. So I'm just going to tie my pink ends together and my yellow ends together. See how I did that? And then I'm going to I'll just trim the ends so that you won't see them anymore. Then I'm going to do my other side. Get all it. All right, so there's one side. Any more questions? Everybody seems to be doing okay?
I think once you start the other sides, a lot of these questions that are coming in, people will be able to see it again, and it'll help.
Yep.
Just go a little slow so they can see the figure 8.
Sorry, trying to get my center spot here. Over, under, over, under, over, under. I really like weaving. I think it's a lot of fun, and there's a lot of things you can do with weaving. This is just a really simple one to do with the craft sticks. All right, I'm going to stop that, cut my end, and I'm going to tuck it under. I'm going to use my little scissors here to help me push it under because my fingers are probably bigger than yours. Oh, I don't know, I got it pulled so tight. There we go. And then you start your second color the same way you started your first color, just over, under, over, under, big figure 8s. And they get bigger as you get to the end of your butterfly because your sticks are further apart. And you don't want to go too close to the ends because you don't want your yarn to slide off your sticks. So tuck that under, give myself a little. All right, I'm going to tie them together just to make sure they don't come off. Tie a little knot. I'll tie these two pink ends together too. And I'm going to trim them. Okay, so there's your butterfly. Now, the next thing you're going to do, if you have a chenille stem, you could make the antenna for your butterfly, kind of the body and the antenna. And what you're going to do is you're going to fold one in half. I'm only going to use half of it, so you can take your scissors if you can. It's kind of hard. If you need help, get an adult to help you cut the chenille stem in half. You really only need half of one. Then I'm going to fold that in half. just like that. Okay, so now I'm going to take this little guy and I'm going to take my V and slide it over the middle of my butterfly, and I'm going to twist the bottom. Actually, you know what? Let's back up. Nope, that's good. Let's do that. You can twist the top one time. Now, if you want to add beads, so I have some pony beads, different colors, different shapes. You need a bead that has kind of a big hole. So I'm going to take this guy, I'm going to take the blue bead, and I'm going to slide both of the top open antenna over that. And then I'm going to bend the antennas slightly. Ooh, that can get pokey. And then if you want, you can slide a couple of beads on the bottom part. Pretty much 2 is all that will fit for this size bead. I'm going to trim my extra.
If people do not have a pipe cleaner, what do you recommend that they can use instead?
Well, I anticipated that that question might come up, and because the pipe cleaner has the wire in it and it works really good for the antennas and shaping the antennas, there's not really a substitute for a pipe cleaner. But what you could do instead to make the antenna or the body is you could cut some construction paper or some cardstock, and you could glue it right on the body. You could glue the little, just pretend this is a piece of, I cut a piece of cardstock or a piece of construction paper. You could glue it right on to your butterfly. That way, make 2 little antennas. You could make a colored body. That way, you could color it with markers if you wanted. And you know, you don't have to. It looks cute even without the antennas, but you could wrap a different color of yarn around the middle and make a body. You could even maybe thread, you could, let's see, let me get this yellow. To maybe wrap this around and make a body, and then you could thread a little bead up on top and tie a knot. You could tie a little knot at the top. So there's some different things you can do. I can show you how to get started on the turtle. So the turtle is a little bit different. That's one side and that's the other side. So this is the side I'm going to call the top. But it's a little tricky because there's 3 craft sticks instead of 2. So let me show you. You're going to start the turtle the same way you started the butterfly, with the X. And you're going to get your X wrapped and secured with the yarn before you add the 3rd craft stick in. So I'm going to go around a few times. Whoops. And then I'm going to go the other way. Before you get started, you can slide the craft sticks so that they're even. If they move after you've wrapped them with the yarn, you're still able to slide them. So now I'm going to take the 3rd one, and it's going to go this way. And you just wrap it that way, and then come around. Wrap it this way, and then come around it the other way. So you just want to make sure you're just kind of getting it from all the little grooves in there, all the little sections of the little V's where the craft sticks come together. So there's that guy started. Okay, so here's how he is. Oops, and you can still slide the craft sticks around up and down if you want to. So then the next thing you do, you're going to go around each stick. wrap around each stick. You're just gonna turn this in your hand in a circle. Wrap around each stick. Wrap, turn, wrap, turn, wrap, turn. So this is actually this is what it looks like on one side, and this is what it looks like on the other side. So once you get that going a few times, just keep going around and turning the turtle in your hand. So you can see how this is starting to make this. I think it's easier to look at this side to remember what you're doing. You're just gonna wrap each stick, wrap each stick. And then you can see how it's coming together on the other side. So this video is being recorded. So if you want to go back later and watch how I did the turtle, if you don't want to do it right now, or it's a little too much, or it's confusing, you can watch the video and you can start and stop it and see what I've been doing. You can see how I'm holding it and turning it in my hand, and see how the other side is coming together now. And you can make it as big as you want. You don't want to get too close to the ends. So on this little turtle guy, I stopped so that I could have little legs and a head. I made a little eyes on his head and a little tail, and then 4 legs. Do we have any other questions?
Just if they want to see a little bit closer what you're doing.
Uh-huh. Can I, is that, okay, what's going on here? Trying to get this lined up. Here, I'll show you this way. How about that? That's one side. And that's the other side. And again, just wrapping each leg. Whoops. Turned it the wrong way. Wrapping each stick. Every time I come to a stick, I'm wrapping around it. And I'm turning it in my hand as I go to make it easier. In this case, I'm going counterclockwise, holding it with my left hand, and I'm wrapping with my right hand. Just going around the sticks one time and moving on to the next one. And you can see as the yarn pulls over here, it's making this part of the weaving. The key on this one is just being able to turn the turtle as you go around it. That's really going to help you. Otherwise, you're going to get, your arms are going to get all tangled up and it's going to be hard. So I'm going to stop weaving him, cut off a piece of yarn, and I'm going to tuck it in again. Same thing we did on the butterfly. I'm going to tuck it in just anywhere that I can so it doesn't come through. And then I'm going to cut it off. So now I have my little turtle. I'm going to take a marker And I'm just gonna color his little head and legs green. If you wanted to, you could start with colored craft sticks. We do sell colored craft sticks, or you could paint them before you get started. But I like the marker works just fine, but I like coloring the marker after I've already handled it because I'm using washable markers and they tend to come off on your fingers until they dry really good. So there, now I've got a black one. I'm gonna make that my head. So I'm gonna make a couple little eyes. I'm gonna give him a little smile. I'm gonna give him little feet. And let's see, maybe, I don't know what their tails look like. Maybe a pointed tail. But you could put a little sticky gem on there if you wanted to. You could put a sticker on him. So there we go. We've got a couple turtles and a couple of butterflies.
We have a few people, Val, who are wondering if you could show how to do the antenna part one more time.
I sure can. In fact, what I'm going to do, I'm going to take this guy apart so I can show it to you again. Let me take him up. Okay, so there's your butterfly without anything on it. So I cut a chenille stem in half, and then I folded it in half. And then I've got a little V. And then I put the butterfly between the V. And kind of about halfway up the chenille stem, you can have just as much at the top as the bottom and twist it to hold it on there. Twist the bottom and twist the top. Just like that. Then if you have a bead, put a bead on for a head on the top, and then you still have these little antennas. I like to sometimes take a pencil, or I got a paintbrush here, and help to bend it into more of a curve. Just bend your chenille stem right around a pencil or end of a paintbrush, something like that. Then on the bottom, I'm going to go ahead and put, I might need to pinch it so you can get your pony beads through there, but the pony beads have a big hole. Here we go.
And then I think we have another common question is, when you tie the yarns at the ends, is it just a regular knot that you're doing? A simple?
Yeah, just a regular knot. Just the goal is that just to keep it secured. You don't want it to unravel, unweave when you're playing with your butterfly or your turtle. Just tie a little knot, then you can cut off the loose ends, the extra ends, so that they're not dangling. Does anybody have any other questions?
No, but as a reminder, I have shared in the chat the written instructions if anyone is a little behind or they are stuck on a step. And I have also shared the links to the classes. So
Great.
Recording there after this.
Good. Well, yeah, I think if you need to go back and watch the video and you can start and stop, sometimes that really helps. When I'm learning how to do a new craft, that's what I like to do. It's easier for me to watch somebody make something than it is for me to read how they made it. And the written instructions might not give you as much information as you want. So that's why having this video as a resource is really great. You can go back and watch it and slow it down and stop it where you need to stop and start it back up when you're ready to go.
All right. Well, Val, thank you very much. If there are no additional questions, we can probably just wrap up right here. Thank you.
Thanks, everybody. I hope you had fun. Bye-bye.